Alright everyone, we're back with another video. Today we're going to be going over the Monotype replays for NatDex World Cup week 4, the week that just passed. And we're getting into week 5, the last week before playoffs. And hopefully the UK manages to get in for NatDex World Cup semi-finals. I'd love to be playing Mono in the semi-finals playoffs basically. But either way, let's look at the first replay today that we have. We got a faded Chambria versus Trich here, and Trich is doing pretty well. I'm pretty sure he's only lost once, and to be fair, Trich is the only person that actually has beaten me so far in the Violet pool for NatDex World Cup. And to be fair, I actually called out the type bring like exactly. Like I brought poison, like Trich brought poison this game, and I'm just like, I was facing Dark, and I knew I had it because I even had G Weezing against Dark, but I did have Pain Split, so I kind of fucked up prep there. But regardless, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know why Charm decided to bring Grass. I'm not gonna lie. If I was down this badly, Grass was never being brought like ever. But you know, Grass versus Poison, the real 100 IQ, the real 200 IQ people will realize, yeah, this is already looking grim for Charm here. But before we get into this replay, like and subscribe, join the kingdom. One away to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're currently at 875. Only 125 more, guys. I know we can definitely get that soon. We're in May now, almost halfway through with the year. And we're doing pretty good. I would say the channel's been doing pretty solid. So I want to thank you, man, for all the support, innit? But yeah, let's get into it. Grass versus Poison. I'm a part of you, and like, I did watch the replay a little bit, and I was like, this game lasted a bit longer than I expected. But, you know, we always know what the outcome of this matchup is realistically. But yeah, let's just give it a shot, innit? So Venusaur and Venusaur action turn 1, and obviously they're gonna Mega Evolve. And yeah, at this point, that Venusaur's doing decent damage. Like for some reason, I've been facing like some freaking offensive Venusaurs every time I actually ladder for this tier, NatDex Mono. But yeah, like they're most likely defensive. There's no reason to go offensive on Poison. But Grass, yeah, I do like the Grass team. I mean, it's just standard Grass. You definitely need Ferrothorn, Meowscarada. Like, Grass is pretty much locked in 3 slots most of the time. Arguably, like, 4. Just because, like, you're probably going to have an Ogerpon on your team. But, yeah, Nidoking is pretty much just going to 1v1 this Venusaur pretty reliably. You could obviously just, like, Synthesis, like, off. But, again, Synthesis has 8 PP and you've already used 2 so far, I think. No, you've used 3 so far. So, you know, that's just a war of attrition that you're not winning. So, Zarude comes in, or... So, I don't know, Zarude, like, I don't know if Nidoking was a switch into Zarude. You have a whole last Venusaur, but I don't know. Like, Zarude does get knockoff, so I'm confused why Darkest Lariat is the click here, but fair enough, you know, they know what they're doing. I mean, that actually does more damage to Mega Venusaur than knockoff, obviously. Maybe they didn't know if Zarude had knockoff, but you should at this point. They got in, like, DLC 2, I think. It put Zarude back on the map, you know, basically. So, yeah. Clodsab versus Ferrothorn. This is pretty much just hazard stacking. Like, none of them can do anything to each other. Even, like, Toxapex here, you know, get the Scold Burn off with, you know, yeah, you get the Scold Burn and then Leech Seed. So at this point, like, Ferrothorn should be realistically stacking hazards. Is most likely the Rocks user. Like, you kind of just run Ferrothorn for Rocks. Then you have Brambleghast in the back for spikes and rapid spin support. Usually on my grass teams, I like to run Venusaur, just not Venusaur, Whimsicott, because it does get defogged. But for hazard stacking purposes, like especially with spike spin on Brambleghast, is actually not too bad. So yeah, it's just Muck versus, like, to be fair, this Ferrothorn is kind of annoying to take out unless you get Nidoking back in, but you let Nidoking take a Darkest Lariat for like no reason. So it only has one more switch in, I think. Yeah, because you take 6% from Stealth Rocks. So yeah, but Ferrothorn is slowly getting chipped down. Has no more leftovers, and Burn is coming. Venusaur comes in on Leech Seed, which is pretty nice for Trich here, because you pretty much just deal with it. It might be HP 5 Venusaur, but they go for Sludge Bomb, which is a crazy predict on the Brambleghast, and that actually takes that a lot. It takes that a bit better than I was expecting, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, Brambleghast is just gonna die here. Poison kills it. So yeah, no more removal anymore. But now at this point, to be fair, Grass doesn't have any way of like breaking opposing Mega Venusaur. Like, you just have to 1v1 each other. Venusaur on Venusaur action, like we saw on the first turn. And yeah, Crobat just comes in, defogs. Most likely he's gonna clip Brave Bird the next turn. That's a crazy Earth power to catch out that Roost. But that's a mad Earth power, I can't lie. But yeah. So Club comes back in, probably just gonna get up hazards again. you can pretty much get away with that. Thing is, Ogerpon's never actually beaten this. Like, Ogerpon doesn't beat Venusaur, which is funny, and you also unaware Clodsire, but you're gonna take damage from Ivy Cudgel. So they sat Nidoking here, which, to be fair, that's fine. You could have gone Pex, but you don't. You actually do beat Pex. I mean Ogerpon with Pex, because you Haze, Recover, spam that, and you're Toxic. So there's not much you can do about that. Crobat's in, clicks Brave Bird, Ferrothorn dies with the recall. I mean, at this point, I think you need to Roost. But yeah, this is probably Scarf Zarude out, perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, 31 though, maybe that's banded actually, I don't know. Mark taking 31 is insane, but Mark doesn't have like the highest defense stat, so I can't tell the Zarude. So I'll probably go Scarf Meowscarada, maybe banded Zarude. But yeah, so Mark comes in on Venusaur. I think you need to find the opportunity to get Crobat back in, just Roost. You get in Pex though, which is interesting. Sludge Bomb comes out. But yeah, Twitch is playing the long game, because I would have just gone hard Crobat and just started roosting and spamming Brave Bird. There's literally no flying neutral on Fade on Charm side anymore. So yeah, then Venusaur just comes in to deal with Ogerpon. Yeah, I think you just spam Sludge Bomb. Oh, they are Zen Headbutt, which is very interesting, I guess, for the poison matchup. Okay, yeah, that's the way you beat Mega Venusaur, I suppose, so it's not too bad. But yeah, Venusaur comes in on Venusaur action. I would, no, personally, go Crobat, Roost. I guess, I mean, you're going to stall out Synthesis anyway. You have 3 PP, so if he wants to play the long game like that, I would still just go hard Crobat. Like, Crobat's not getting 2-hit killed by Sludge Bomb. Last time I checked. So yeah, finally they get Crobat back in. Yeah, that was 19. That's a 3-hit kill. And they don't Roost. Oh wait, yeah, you'll get caught out by Earth Power, to be fair. But like, you just took extra 19% for no reason. But like, when Crobat can actually end this game. But at the same time, doesn't really matter. Poison's gonna win this anyway. Like, there's still about like 20 turns left. I just want to skip a few turns, because I'm just like, you're gonna eventually just stall out the Synthesis, and once Mega Venu's gone, like Twitch's Mega Venu is just gonna win the game anyway. Ogerpon is at this amount of HP, and yeah, the game's just wraps at this point. So yeah, Pex is taking no damage. Is this specially defensive Pex? Who knows? You have Fizz Death Venusaur, so yeah, that's not really taking too much damage whatsoever. And then Meowscarada comes in, but yeah, it does no damage. Does no damage to Pex. It is Choice Scarf damage from the looks of it. And then, yeah, Zarude, yeah, that's 100% banded. Killing Clodsire in one hit, that's 100% banded. So, I guess this is an interesting sort of grass comp nowadays with banded Zarude. I haven't really ran grass in NDM in quite a while, because, like, it's not a Doom type like it is in SV Monotype. Like, grass is bad. Like, really, really bad in SV. So, but in NDM, like, as long as you have Ferrothorn and Mega Venusaur and Meowscarada, like, you actually have 4 really good mons on the type. It's just that the type struggles in general just because of fundamental reasons, you know. Other types are better, and like the best types, grass just matches awful into them. But yeah, the grass bring was interesting. Like, at this point, it's just a matchup fish, and I maybe expected water or something, but I don't know, grass is still a bit risky in my opinion. Now, moving on to the next game, we got Frowlin versus Lithium Z. We got Brazil versus France here. I've been liking a lot of these. Well, I don't know if I'm a fan of the flying cons, but it seems like, at least for the trends that I'm seeing in this tour so far, what do you call it? Aerodactyl, Mega Aerodactyl is the preferred Mega Evolution over Zard-Y. And to be fair, Zard-Y does take a bit of support. You kind of have to focus a lot on removal, because obviously you can't run heavy duty boots on a Megamon, and you're taking ×4 damage from Stealth Rock. So Mega Aerodactyl is the safer Mega, is also faster, has access to Dragon Dance, actually does a lot of damage, so on and so forth. But even though Zard-Y also does a lot of damage, but you can get away with, like, Mega Aerodactyl is the more consistent Mega of choice, obviously. But yeah, you got the typical Celesteela, Gliscor, Ground Flying. It's typically not Lando anymore on these sort of builds, but obviously Lando I and Lando 2 are legal on flying, so you can use them. But up against Dragon here, and you'd think that this is going to be a decently even match of Dragon versus Flying. So let's see how this game goes with Frowlin and Lithium here. So Rowan Moon lead decent. We got sub pressure Zapdos here, so no static. So Rowan Moon can pretty much just stay in and just click knock off a couple of times. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like you have much switch-ins to this though. So I guess you just sack the Zapdos. But you know, obviously they roosted here because you know Rowan Moon like is doing less damage with knockoff. So our Chaladon comes in, gets all the Stealth Rocks. I don't know what defogger they have on this team. They just revealed defog Gliscor, problem solved. So they go for Dragon Tail. Doesn't like you're not gonna beat Gliscor 1v1 anyway. You're gonna have to get in some other Pokemon like the Latios, which is maybe running Bolt Beam combination of attacks. So they are Mega Latios, and I was right about Bolt Beam, but this is AV Torn, so that's taking no damage at all. Which you know, AV Torn has been going strong from 6th gen, bro. That mon is crazy. This stuff, innit? But yeah, even Celesteela's not taking any sort of damage from Mega Latios. Is Mega Latios not gonna beat the fraud allegations? Who knows, man? But like at this point, the Dragon I ran like last week or 2 weeks ago now, since I'm recording this in week 5. The Dragon I brought week 3. You think I was bringing Mega Latios, bro? I had fucking Dragonite, bro. Like, like that shit was crazy. But yeah, obviously, like Bolt Beam Latios is good for the flying matchup 100%, but you know, AV Torn is dealing with that. That's why I was so close to running. To be fair, I brought Psychic this week with a Latios or Bolt Beam combination, but I was so close to bringing like Electrium Z or Icium Z. Well, I was leaning more towards Electrium Z for the water matchup 100%. You don't really need the Ice Z, but I decided to go Dragon anyway because I was like, having that Nuke Draco Meteor, we might as well, innit? But yeah, so at this point, the Latios is proceeding not to do anything because you can't actually break through AV Torn that reliably. But yeah, Gliscor's here to keep off hazards, so you know Latios is not killing that shit. But yeah, Gliscor just seems to be spamming defog. I don't know if this Mega Latios is roost. I mean, it is recovered. They just show that shit. But yeah, Torn just keeps coming in, and oh, they got the crit, which is actually pretty bad for Frowlane. I'm not gonna lie, that AV Torn was handling Latios quite effectively. But yeah, here comes the my bad. Yeah, that was pretty bad for them. But our Chaladon comes in on Mega Aerodactyl. Earthquake was a nice predictor. I would have clicked Earthquake myself even. But yeah, Error is not beating our Chaladon 1v1, so you have to go back into Stealer. Flash Cannon doesn't do too much, 11%. A bit more than I was expecting, to be fair, but you know, Celesteela can just spam Leech Seed and 1v1 our Chaladon quite reliably. We'll see if this is Flamethrower. You have well, dropping Heavy Slam sounds like a meme, so you're probably Heavy Slam last. I can't imagine not having Heavy Slam on Celesteela, but you know, because then you end up being walled by fucking Rowan Moon, which is insane, even if it is toxic. So yeah, they go for the Protect just to stall out turns. The knockoff, fortunately, they don't have any I mean, you have Gliscor as a knockoff switch, as they do proceed to go Gliscor. This is most likely Fizz Def. Gliscor takes 34 from knockoff, basically no damage, and Gliscor's just gonna recover that shit back because Gliscor's a funny Pokemon. But yeah, I think I'll defog there. And like, it's always inviting Latios in, and I think you could recover here, but I don't know if you would prioritize just getting as much damage as possible. But Stealer is a good mid-ground play because they're never clicking T-Bolt there, but you might have had to, but at that point Recover was definitely the better play for sure. So yeah, Gudra's coming in, not Sapsip or Gudra. He's either Shell Armor or Gooey. I've been running Goo recently myself, so yeah, Heavy Slam comes out, does 47 disgusting damage from Celesteela here as usual, the heaviest Pokemon in the game. And they just keep spamming Leech Seed. Like, Leafearm's having an issue of breaking the Flying Core, which is a problem. But Chaladon comes back in, and to be fair, Como is always a win con. Definitely, like, even though Como has a type disadvantage, it still has, you know, special dragon moves that's gonna like nuke Arrow. But you definitely need to keep rocks up. But you can't really keep rocks up against the Gliscor because your rocker is not beating Gliscor. So that's the issue that we ran into here. So yeah, Latios is in. Me, I'm taking Stone Edge as the mid ground. But they actually go for Ice Fang, which is the better mid ground than Stone Edge because Arch doesn't resist Ice Fang. So yeah, that's actually not too bad. But yeah, Gliscor always just comes back in, and then the default is going to happen. Like, Leaf cannot keep rocks up because Gliscor is too stupid. But yeah, so they defog again. And we'll see what sort of Garchomp this is, because they are mixed Garchomp with Life Orb Draco Meteor, it seems like. So yeah, that's a pretty solid set that you got there. And yeah, Gliscor's low. So yeah, keeping Gliscor this low is very good for Leaf here, because you can actually continuously get up hazards. But they decide to DD there, and I think Mega Arrow is in prime position to sweep with DD now anyway. So yeah, Rowan Moon dies, the Scarf Rowan Moon. And yeah, I think it just kills everything. Like, Dual Wing Beat is going to kill this. or even Ice. Oh, Ice Fang doesn't kill it. Oh, and you get frozen as well. Yeah, that is tough. I don't know if Clanger Soul Blaze was even killing this shit, but yeah, that is just unfortunate work, unfortunately. But yeah, Mega Arrow is just primed to sweep here at this point. They get a second DD. Oh yeah, this is Dunzo. This is Dunzo. Yeah, Frowlin. Yeah, to be fair, the hacks on the Como was pretty bad, but because they would have not gone up that second DD if Como got off damage on Mega Arrow. But to be fair, Latios was Latios dying? Yeah, Latios was low. So yeah, Mega Aerodactyl gets the DD sweep, which is actually pretty nice. And yeah, Flying's in a pretty good spot versus Dragon. I like the team, to be fair. Different from the one that I faced, that you're gonna see in my game that I'm leaving for last, best or last, innit? But yeah, not bad. So yeah, we got CSCO versus Scarfire here, Canada versus China, and to be fair, I don't think Scarfire was playing in the slot initially, but they got subbed in. So Dragon on Dragon action, typical NDM at this point. But yeah, all of these, the teams are pretty much the same. It's just Latios over Latias on each side. To be fair, it's hard to justify using Latias these days because people are liking Mega Latios' abilities to help in specific matchups like Steel and Flying, for example, as you saw in the last game. Bolt Beam Latios, even though it was up against an AV Torn, if you're not facing an AV Torn, Latios is pretty hard to switch into. But Latias is kind of seen like, well, obviously, if you have a Rowan Moon, which is your Scarfer, it's going to be Mega Latias on this side, which goes for a more bulkier approach. But, you know, more people are preferring Latios. Me, again, like I said, I'm not running either. Like, I can, but I choose not to because I don't want to. Like, Mega Altari is basically just fallen off, which is insane to me. But, you know, the specific matchups are just better. But, yeah, they actually stayed in on a Garchomp, which is insane. But, yeah, everyone's just bringing this freaking mixed Elo Garchomp, which is actually pretty funny to see, to be honest. Definitely a nice innovation to see. Again, I need more people to be on the Dragonite wave, bro. Like, I'm not a Dragonite glazer like that, but like, again, I have like no attachment to that mon at all. But it is a fun Pokemon to use on Mono Dragon, I have to say. But yeah, Mega Latias comes in, starts Calm Mind, and yeah, this is the difference between Latios and Latias on the Mega side. You know, Latias is more of a bulky wing con, and Latios is just there to do as much damage as possible, innit? And be more bulkier than its base form. But yeah, I don't know why they allowed Latias to get Toxic by the Goodra. The Toxic was 100% coming out. Maybe CSCL didn't remember that, you know, Goodra runs Toxic in here. But yeah, our Chaladon pretty much almost dies to Draco, which I'm not too surprised about. Elo Chomp is actually just that strong. But yeah, then they're going to go Latias here on the EQ. But yeah, at this point, Latias did have a chance, potentially, but like, to be fair, I don't think it ever stood a chance. The moment that you actually want to start setting up, Goodra is literally coming in every single time, and you have no way of beating that. So, yeah, quite unfortunate, to be honest. But yeah, Arch gets sacked here to the spike, and yeah, Dragon, again, Dragon on Dragon, there's no removal, so you just get up your hazards and pray for the best. So yeah, Latios comes in, maybe this is Elo Chomp as well, but nope, they click the Earthquake, and now Mega Latios is pretty much gonna have a good time. So they also stayed in on that. I don't know, CSCO is playing weird, to be honest, because why would you ever really stay in? At least go Goodra, but at this point, you're behind on momentum. In a Dragon Mirror, you never want to be behind on momentum where you're just losing the game pretty much. And yeah, it's basically what's happening to CSCO now, because your Scarf Moon, Como is guaranteed coming in to click the funny button. Well, that isn't the funny button, but the next funny button is the funny button. So, you know, they click Clanger Soul, but Clanger Soul Blaze is coming out now. So, yeah, Game Freak actually love Como because they didn't have to bring Clanger Soul into Gen 8, but they did because they're like, let Como have its shit back. But yeah, the game's pretty much wraps now. Como is at +2 speed, and yeah, the game's pretty much over. CSCO played on the back foot most of the game, and yeah, that's just basically what's going to happen in the Dragon matchup. Would anything change if CSCO had a Mega Altaria instead? 100%, but the issue with Mega Altaria is that, and even in the Dragon Mirror, which is why you want to use Mega Altaria in the first place, our Chaladon's always beating that. Like, it's gonna have Flash Cannon, it's going to 2-hit KO you, and you don't even 2-hit KO it back with +1 Earthquake. So yeah, it is like, many of these reasons are why Mega Altaria has fallen off on Dragon, which is a shame, to be honest, because it's only usable on Dragon. You can't use it on Mono Fairy team. So yeah, Mega Altaria is pretty much gone to the gulag. So yeah, that's just how it is, unfortunately. But either way, second to last game, we got Tari 25 versus BK Onion here. And wait, is this the game that they played? Yeah, 2nd of May. It makes some sense here. But yeah, we got this game now. Need to turn down the volume because the button isn't there. So we got Electric versus Rock, and this is a pretty fun matchup. A lot of people are probably just thinking Rock. But yeah, we sold Rock like a year or 2 ago. I think like the only way you're using Rock in NDM is using Chuckle Webs. There's no way around that. Like, it's the only way to use Rock. Like back in Gen 8, no one was really using Rocks, and I feel like once SS comes back, like in like SS NatDex PL or even in NatDex Mono Premier League, like you could probably just build this sort of Rock team again just without Ogopon and Boulder, obviously, because they're not in Gen 8, obviously. But yeah, so yeah, Shuckle dies for the cause, gets up Rocks and Webs, even though Electric does have removal options in Defog Zapdos, the Rapid Spin Aleki, Defog Rotom. But yeah, nice predicts on the Mega Diancie now, because now you just get a free like Moonblast off, and Thunderclap does some good damage, but I was never killing anyway. And then yeah, Raging Bolt just dies. To be fair, like Fairy is always like tough for Electric teams to switch into, and to be fair, I think Diancie's still slower than Aleki after Webs, which is insane to me. But yeah, they decide to Volt Switch, does some good damage to Arcanine, and they get in Rotom Wash here. Head Smash is gonna do a good chunk of damage, but this Rotom came in, so I'm assuming it's just gonna defog. Yeah, so Shuckle died for the cause, and the cause is dead now. But I think you can get away with not running Webs against Electric, because again, things are just too fast anyway. But they decide to sack Zapdos, don't get the static off, which is quite a shame for BKA here. But yeah, Coco comes in and yeah, just starts kicking Volt Switch. Rock doesn't really have any answers because no one ever runs the ground types on Rock. But you know, Boulder comes in, Cork Drive up activates, and Mighty Cleave should just kill Regieleki, so you kind of have to swap out. And then yeah, Rotom just dies. But if I'm Tari here, I would just go Iron Hands. But typically on Rock, you're not going to be Choice Scarfed anyway. So at that point, you're going to get dealt with Earthquake or whatever the hell you have. So Nihiligo comes in, and you know, Iron Hands goes for the Z move, which I wasn't expecting, to be fair. But Nihiligo is 100% dying. It probably would have just died to CC in general because of Cork Drive attack boost. But yeah, Diancie comes in and yeah, just clicking Moonblast Simulator again. But yeah, Coco almost dies, but was never really dying. And then Dazzling Gleam kills Diancie, and it's looking pretty close for Tari here. But Ogopon the Goat is in, and you know, it clicks Horn Leech. So yeah, at this point, it's a pretty tough game, I feel. It's going to be a close one, because Iron Hands is still at full HP. So Horn Leech comes out, does 27, which is piss damage, and you know, you click Drain Punch and Ogopon dies. And Tari is looking bad for Tari here, because like, are you clicking Zen Headbutt versus this? Because like, how else are you winning? But the Z move decides to come out, Shattered Psyche, and I don't know if that was a roll to kill, but yeah, I was not expecting the Z Psychic there, but it does actually make sense, because how else are you going to win? But yeah, EQ comes out, and that was a pretty close, solid game, Rock versus Electric. I actually like that game. Like I predicted, I said this game can go any way, to be honest, but, you know, it was that close, so I was happy that my prediction came to pass. And finally, moving on to the Kings game. Oops. Where did I leave my replay? Apologies, guys. Give me a sec. Alright, guys, I completely forgot that my replay was the second tab that I opened, but, you know, yeah, best to last. Your boy TTK, you guys know how it is, innit? But yeah, I decided to bring Psychic. I'm facing Flying, quite different from the Flying team that who was it? Was it Frowlin? Yeah, Frowlin brought. It's still Mega Arrow, but this is more like a more offensive squad. Corviknight over Celesteela, Namorous and D-Knight over what do you call it? Moltres and Gliscor here. But yeah, no, to be fair, Lando is the Gliscor replacement. But either way, let's get into the game. Like I mentioned earlier, I did have the Bolt Beam Latios on deck, so it was going to do some bits versus this team. We also have Iron Boulder, which is obviously a tough Pokemon for Flying to switch into. And you only have 2 Rock Neutrals on your team, Lando T and Corviknight. So yeah, it's going to be a fun game, obviously. I know who won. I know who won. But yeah, I got such a good lead off versus this Torn, and I was like, yeah, we're piecing out. Getting the Iron Boulder, you know, start clicking Mighty Cleave, innit? So Lando comes out. Unfortunately, the Lando is Rocky Helmet, so I'm gonna have to be careful about that. I'm gonna have to swap into Slowbro because they're gonna get up the hazards, Stealth Rock, and we have no removal ourselves. But they click knock off Colberberry, quite a useful item on Slowbro. Definitely one that I'm gonna be running on Psychic Slowbros for the foreseeable future, to be honest, because yeah, this one doesn't really need any other item. Colberberry is quite useful. But again, Jirachi here, and you know, I'm able to get on my own hazards now. But unfortunately, the taunt is taunt. So taunt nasty plot, very devious set that they decided to run here, which is a shame. But I decided to U-turn because I'm like, we're getting Boulder back in again, and it's just a thing where Lando is just gonna keep getting chipped. So I don't mind getting Boulder in, but you know, they decided to go Corviknight this time as a mid ground, and I was calculating the damage, get the crit. It is Fizz Death Corviknight, so good luck to their Curomancer because they don't have any fucking Curomancers for this team. But yeah, the Iron Head here. I'm able to get on my own rocks now because I'm not in front of a Tornadus anymore. But yeah, they go Lando T, I get up hazards, and at this point I'm just like, well, I'm not staying in. Even if they do decide to U-turn again, yeah, I don't care. Again, I don't care. Like, Slowbro is getting low, but there's a funny ability called Regenerator, so, you know, we're not too bad. But they decide to go Corviknight here. I assume they just want to defog. I would defog in their situation as well. And I get back to full HP, so I have no issues. I think I decided to Scald here, because Scald was, like, so free. It is insane, and if I can get a burn off on Tornadus, that would be pretty nice. I don't get a burn, I never get anything. Oh, that fucking moved. But, yeah, they decide to Hurricane Jirachi. Gets confused, and obviously Jirachi's not taking too much damage. They're probably Focus Blast last. You'd have to be Focus Blast last just because of the fact that if you're Hurricane Heat Wave, then you're just walled by Heat Trend. So yeah, that is not the angle. So yeah, I decided to make some doubles here because I'm just like, it's just gonna be the same repetitive nonsense. So I get in the Goat Latios, start clicking funny buttons, Bolt Beam combination. But yeah, again, this damage just confirmed to me it was Fizz Death Corviknight anyway, so I decided to T-Bolt, and obviously Corviknight dies. So yeah, Corv is finally down, they have no more removal, they bring in the Scarf and Namorous, but they decided to go D-Knight. I guess they anticipated my Jirachi bring, and I'm just like, cool. So at this point, I didn't know what D-Knight it was. I don't think Earthquake killed me, but obviously from Outrage, I saw the damage that it was Choice Banded Dragonite here. So yeah, at this point, I missed T-Wave, but it doesn't really matter. My priority here is to paralyze the D-Knight. Again, my initial T-Wave was in case it was Dragon Dance, and then I could deal with that myself, because I could always revenge kill that with Lele plus Iron Boulder, so it wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, Jirachi dies for the cause, gets up the hazards. Dying for the cause is just getting up hazards. But at this point, Ice Beam wasn't killing, so I had to go for my Z-Dragon move, and I'm happy I decided to go Z-Dragon over Z-Electric, because it actually got me the kill here. And at this point, I don't need Latios anymore, because I have no switches to Namorous anyway. So I managed to get in Boulder, and as you can see, the Landorus is still very low. So, you know, Iron Boulder can just sweep the game. At this point, Arrow dies, and Namorous dies, Taunt dies. So at this point, I'm just chilling, I'm cruising, because I already see my win path. So Arrow comes in, I don't get the kill on Mighty Cleave, because I'm at -1. So me just standing there about to sack my Iron Boulder would be a choke of all time. So yeah, I get Slowbro in. Doesn't really matter. They start DDing, but you know, Slowbro is that bulky, you don't really care. To be fair. Again, no Scald burn. Like, I clicked this. How many times did I click this move? 3 times, no burns. It's actually nonsense. Like, at this point, I just run Surf. I get no secondary effects every time I play this game in a tournament fashion. So, you know, that's just how life goes, you know. But, yeah, Slowbro dies, and Iron Boulder just comes in to kill 2. So, yeah, pretty solid game. It was a pretty good matchup for me, to be fair. I had Iron Boulder, Bolt Beam Latios. Again, I prepped for flying. I literally specifically changed my Latios because I was like, flying seems kind of annoying, so I'm just gonna change my Latios. But yeah, that is it for the week 4 coverage. Let me know down below which game you found the most enjoyable to watch. Please say mine, because I do think mine was the best game. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.